brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. Well, here we are. It's April 7th, and we will take a little bit of a pathway. We'll walk around and explore together Proverbs 12, 19 through 20. We won't quite get through all of it because we are taking a path of sorts. So we will begin in our Proverbs reading from the one-year Bible here as we read through the Bible in a year. Verse 19 says, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment." Take a moment and soak that in and think about the meaning and the truth of it. The Hebrew puts it very poetically. It says, "a lip of truth," and in contrast, "a tongue of falsehood." For endure forever, we have the Hebrew word for to be established or to be secure. So that word for to be established or be secure is the same word that is used in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 6, which says, "Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure." So enduring forever, being sure, being established and secure, it is all the same word in Hebrew. Now, looking at that last verse, Proverbs chapter 4, we see an often used metaphor or a comparison in the book of Proverbs, and that is the metaphor of a path. Just like I often run on the trail, like the Chief Standing Bear Trail, like I did earlier this evening, saw the beautiful sunset, or also the Homestead Trail. It is good to think of this metaphor of a path, and as Proverbs uses it, and as Solomon uses this metaphor, we see that the Hebrew nouns for way, path, or road occur in 82 of Proverbs' 915 verses. That's 9% of the whole book. And this metaphor of a path is very effective at balancing law and gospel in the sayings of Solomon. So, for example, the sinful path, which rightly brings upon the sinner the judgment of God, is a path that is evil, crooked, devious, and wandering, dark, disgusting to the Lord, full of thorns and snares. It leads to everlasting death and Sheol. Those who frequent such paths are described as wicked and evil, arrogant and crooked, greedy, lazy, stupid, treacherous, violent, and stubborn fools. These are the people who speak perverse things, who despise God, who abandon upright paths. Solomon uses the path metaphor in talking about the law to cover all three uses of the law. First, the law acts as a curb and a deterrent to prevent people from carrying out sinful behavior, as when Solomon warns that the evil path is harmful, causes people to stumble, is dangerous, and leads to death. Second, the law is a mirror that helps us recognize our own sin. The metaphor of a path subtly depicts our own sinful urges, because each of us can see that we have at times taken steps down this path. And sometimes the law is made explicit by contrasting sinful behavior to a better way, such as in Proverbs 6:6, which says, "Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways and be wise." And third, the metaphor of the path can teach and guide the believer in godly living. This is the third use of the law. Some proverbs actually overtly depict the law as a guide for those to whom God grants knowledge and life by the gospel, as in Proverbs 6:23, which says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are the way of life." So there you have all three uses of the law that are covered by the path metaphor. That's not all, though, because balancing out all of that law is how the path also can describe the gospel. So the metaphor of the path is a good way of expressing the gospel. The righteous path of the gospel does not originate from human impulses, but belongs to God, since God is from eternity. The ability to walk on this path is a gift from God received through faith, that is, simple trust in God. This path is the path of the wisdom of God, who is Christ. And this godly path is spoken of in Proverbs as straight and level, upright, having justice, possessing and leading to life, having righteousness, bringing peace, creating understanding, enabling wise judgment, and having wisdom. Since this path originates from God and is purely a gift from God to each believer, it is not a product of the human will. This is what is spoken of in Proverbs 4:18, which says, "But the path of the righteous is like the light of the dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day." So, just as God brings us to the rising of the sun and brings the sun to its rising, we get to experience perhaps the eclipse tomorrow, interestingly enough. God does all that. We don't participate. We can't help God with that. He just makes it so. Likewise, God brings us to the bright light of the gospel apart from our own works. So, as you see the sunrise and maybe get to experience in the proper way and carefully, mind you, the solar eclipse tomorrow, think of the path of righteousness as described in the book of Proverbs being compared to the light which increases gradually on the horizon until the sun finally rises each day that God blesses us with. And may God bless you and keep you. I will look forward to talking with you again.